Hello and welcome to video 3 in this mini crash course on the basics of music theory. In this video, we'll be going through major scales, minor scales, and scale degrees. So let's get started. Firstly, what is a music scale? A music scale is a set of notes within an octave. And the type of music scale is determined by the music intervals between each note. So learning about octaves and music intervals now comes in handy. So what types of music scales do we have? Now there are several types, however we are going to go through the two most common ones used in Western music, and these are major and minor natural scales. So let's start with major scales. These have 7 notes containing each letter from the musical alphabet. Each key has a major scale, therefore there are 12 major scales. Now this scale tends to have a sound that is happy, bright and uplifting, and it follows a music interval pattern of whole tone, semitone, whole tone, whole tone, semitone. And the major scale formula is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All other scales use this formula as a foundation. However, some numbers may be altered depending on the scale's relationship to the major scale. Now this is best demonstrated when we get to minor scales afterwards. So let's have an example of a major scale starting at the key of A. Following the major interval pattern, A to B is a whole tone, B to C sharp or D flat is a whole tone, C sharp to D flat or D flat to D is a semitone, D to E is a whole tone, E to F sharp or G flat is a whole tone, and F sharp or G flat to G sharp or A flat is a whole tone, and finally G sharp or A flat to A is a semitone. So let's listen to the A major scale. The next step is to determine if we can label some notes as a sharp or a flat. Now as you can see with the A major scale example, we have 3 notes that have 2 names, enharmonic notes. We have the C sharp or D flat, the F sharp or G flat, and the G sharp and A flat. Now you will only use sharp or flat symbols in a scale, not a mixture of the both. Therefore, if you figure out the first enharmonic note is a sharp, the following enharmonic notes will also be sharp. Also, another way to do this is to make sure each musical letter has been used. Now at the moment we need a C, an F and a G letter, because we have all the rest. Therefore we use a sharp labelling because we have C sharp, F sharp and G sharp available to us. So now let's move on to minor scales. Minor scales also have 7 notes containing each letter from the musical alphabet. This scale tends to sound emotional, sad and dark. Now each note has a minor scale. Therefore, we have 12 minor scales, and they follow an interval pattern of whole tone, semitone, whole tone, semitone, whole tone, whole tone. Minor scales have the formula 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6 and flat 7. Now what this means is that the 3rd, the 6th and the 7th note in the scale is a semitone lower than the note appears in the major scale, starting at the same key. So the example below is creating a natural minor scale starting at the key of A. So following the minor interval pattern, A to B is a whole tone, B to C is a semitone, C to D is also a whole tone, D to E, whole tone, E to F, semitone, and F to G, a whole tone. And finally, G to A is a whole tone. So in the scale, we have no sharps or flats. So let's listen to the A minor scale. If we compare A major and A minor, we can see that the differences are the C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp are in the major scale. However, for the minor scale, these three notes have been lowered by a semitone to C, F, and G. Hence the flat 3, flat 6, and flat 7 in the formula. So let's listen to the A major and the A minor scale afterwards. You can practice learning these major and minor scales by working them out yourself for each key. Now, as a quick note, major and minor scales have a special relationship. Every minor scale starts at the 6th note of a major scale. Now, we do discuss this more in relative keys, which is in another video in the series. So lastly, let's look at scale degrees. Each note in a scale, regardless of if it's part of a major or minor scale, has a name attached to it which relates to its position and function in the scale. These are tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, and leading tone or subtonic. Now, tonic, the first note, and dominant, the 5th note, are perceived to be the most important in any given scale. So let's go through each one in a little more detail. Our first note is tonic. The tonic note is the tonal centre of the key you are playing in. It's the beginning of the scale and is usually referred to a lot during a piece of music. It acts as your home. Our second note is the supertonic. The supertonic strengthens the dominant note. You may hear that this note often appears before or after the dominant note in a piece of music. Our third note is mediant. The mediant note is harmonically weak compared to other degrees and is often perceived as a filler note. Our fourth note is subdominant. This is the midway point in your scale. The subdominant note offers a gentle resolution leading back to the tonic note. Our fifth note is the dominant one. The dominant note is harmonically strong and uplifting and works well with the tonic note. It's a supercharged note with a lot of power in it, so you'll usually find this note leads to harmonically weak ones. Our sixth note is submediant. The submediant strengthens the dominant note and can have a tonic effect if prominently used in certain sections of a song because it is the start of the minor scale. And lastly, our seventh note is a leading tone if it's a major scale and our subtonic if it's a minor scale. So these two notes create tension and is often harmonically weak and unstable. So let's use the key of A using a major scale as our example. So this is how the scale degrees work out. A is our tonic note, B is supertonic, C sharp is mediant, D is subdominant, E is dominant, F sharp is submediant, and G sharp is our leading tone. Therefore, A and E are our important notes. Understanding a note scale degree in any given scale will allow you to create and release tension throughout your music. So that completes video 3 in this mini crash course on basic music theory. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, give me a beautiful thumbs up and subscribe to the channel below, and any questions, leave them in the comments below. Or when you're ready, click on the next video in the series where we learn about music keys. Bye.